Well, Nationals fans, pregame enthusiasm has been muted a bit through 3 innings by a very stingy Jake Peavy, with the Giants on top 1-0. Back with John Smoltz and J.P. Morosi, Matt Vasgersian, top half of the 4th. And it'll be Pablo Sandoval, Hunter Pence, and Brandon Belt against Steven Strasburg. The two-time All-Star flied to center in his first try today. And is behind quickly here, 0-2.
Been really impressed with Strasburg. Big moment. Last inning, got out of it with 1. He could have got out of it with 0 defensively. They didn't get the runner at second. And he hasn't panicked. He hasn't shown any outwardly concerns or fidget movements in the fact that he's just staying with his game plan. Quietly with his mechanics, throwing his fastball firm.
Swatted back up the box and through, a base hit. So the second straight inning the Giants have opened with a base hit back up the middle. It's time for our manager interview, brought to you by DirecTV. And I know we're early into this one, but we asked Matt Williams between innings for a 3-inning report card on his Nats.
Well, I think he's throwing the ball good. Fastball's up, velocity-wise. Changeup's down. They've hit a couple of good pitches. Panik hit a decent pitch. Changeup down and away from him. So, all in all, pretty good so far. We need to get to Jake a little bit if we can.
Yeah, Jake's been pretty good. He doesn't have the old Jake fastball, but he really seems to be moving the ball in and out, cutting it a little bit, and just keeping it off the barrel of the bat.
Yeah, he's learned how to do that. Once you don't have 97 anymore, you learn how to pitch, and he's fantastic. He's been doing this a long time. He's had our numbers for the first 3, but we hope to scratch some against him.
Matt Williams at the age of 48, John, and as a rookie manager, he's still not far enough removed from his playing days to where he's managing against guys that he faced. He faced Jake Peavy.
Yeah, that got a new wave of managers in the game, and I'll tell you what, Matt Williams has done a great job just restoring or developing the identity of this Nationals team. I thought that was one thing that was missing, as their mission to get to the playoffs and World Series hasn't come to fruition yet. And I'll tell you, he did it with his superstar, sitting him down right away. He said, hey, look, we made a pact. We made a pact, and we're going to run out the 90s, and anyone that doesn't do it, you're going to be sitting next to me, and haven't had an issue since. And I think for this young team with high promise, he has been a good leader first year at the job, and he's hoping to have some pretty good success as they move through the playoffs.
2 balls and a strike to Hunter Pence. Fights off a pitch up around his nose, and it's still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Another guy that's come in here and done a nice job and really influenced Strasburg has been Doug Fister, a veteran pitcher. They haven't really had much veteran pitchers here. They've been a young staff with high promise and potential. And Fister and his work ethic and everything that he goes into pitching a baseball game has had an influence on these guys, and it's no fluke that their numbers as a whole is pretty good.
A breaking ball hit on the ground is shortstop. Desmond to Cabrera, over to LaRoche, not in time.
On this time, second time through the lineup, you start attacking the hitters a little bit differently and reading what their swings are off your fastball. And that was a good breaking ball that he got Pence to lean out and hit it softly to short.
So 1 out, 1 on now for Brandon Belt, who flied to left in his first try today. 26-year-old slugging first baseman who was off to such a terrific start this year before injuries kind of railroaded his 2014. Broken thumb on May 9th cost him 50 games. And then most troublingly, a concussion in late July that limited him to just 15 games down the stretch over the season's final 2 months.
I'll tell you what, the left-handers for this team of late has been pretty good. Talked about Panik and what he's done in 2 games. Of course, Crawford's grand slam. This guy getting a couple hits, and as you mentioned, missing a lot of time. Not your prototypical injuries either. Broken bone and then a concussion.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy and the Giants, Bochy telling us yesterday they wanted to make sure that Brandon Belt was 100% before turning him loose, as one would understand. Pence at first with one away. Dancing like he wants to go.
Well, you can tell. I mean, you know, each pitcher does it differently. Strasburg turns and looks at the runner a long time before he comes back. You can tell there's maybe just a little bit uncomfortable with the runner on first. He's concentrating on delivering the ball to home, but he's looking at him a long time right there, and then he'll come set and try to figure out if he wants to go over to first or deliver his pitch.
He might be just looking at him because he looks like such a spaz. I mean, watching Hunter Pence go about his business, and he is one of the best in the game in terms of being an all-around talent. He gives you everything. Defense, he can run, hits for power and average. But as John alluded to earlier, when you watch him, it is not how you teach somebody to go about it. He's got his own style.
I've nicknamed him the praying mantis. The way he runs, the way he throws, and how he gets it done. It's just fun to watch because it's not what you would normally see mechanically or fundamentally.
And Belt's hanging around after another foul ball. Steven Strasburg, by the way, has had 9 two-strike counts today. And he's facing his 15th batter of the afternoon. Only 1 strikeout.
Yeah, it's a little unusual. And when he gets you ahead in the count as a pitcher, it's a 136 average. That's stunning. That's tough to counteract. 0-2, it's 0.89. So with 2 strikes, he's got so many weapons to put you out. Right now, today, he's been primarily fastball changeup.
Pence runs. The throw down from Ramos is too late. Pence in well ahead of the throw.
Great jump on what I think is a changeup that fades away. Pence takes advantage of it in scoring position. You know, when you leave the bullpen, you never know from start to start what feels good, whether you've got your sharpness, but at some point during the game you got to find a way to get some pitch working and throw it, even if it doesn't feel great at the time. I'm not saying that that's not the case with Strasburg. We just haven't seen that many curveballs in his game plan early on.
So a chance now after the stolen base for Brandon Belt to drive in a run with a base hit. Crawford next with 1 away here in the 4th. And a base hit to right. Do they try it with Pence? Tim Flannery waving him home. Throw to the plate will be too late. 2-0 San Francisco. So now Brandon Crawford, a strikeout victim, back in the 2nd. I'll tell you, there is no explaining the Giants. And John, you and I were talking about this for the last couple of days. With a team like the Nationals, you lay them out on paper, you see how dominant they are in terms of all their offensive ranks and pitching ranks in particular, and you can say, yeah, I get it. They won 96 games during the regular season. Best overall record in the circuit. Take this little rally by the Giants as an example as to how difficult it is to quantify San Francisco's success statistically. They're last in the National League in stolen bases. Yet Pence steals a bag here to set up a guy who's batting 192 with runners in scoring position. He cashes in with a base hit. Pence scores. 2-0 Giants.
Well, they're not bothered by a lot, and that's credit to their 7 straight elimination game wins, and that manager who doesn't seem to have a probably never gets a fever, probably never gets a temperature, stays right there. Strasburg, last pitch, real good. Probably the first pitch Laz Diaz has missed. That looked like a strike. Changed the count from 0-2 to 1-1.
Belt off first, 2 ball and a strike to count to Brandon Crawford. To 1-2.
Front side of Steven Strasburg so important. It is with every pitcher. The front shoulder. He's a big guy. They talk about his W or inverted M, however you want to talk about it. His elbows and arms and just the leverage that he creates with that whip of an arm. The one thing that when it works well, that front shoulder's quiet. It's kind of like the gun barrel, looking through a gun barrel, the sight. That's your sight for a pitcher. And when he stays calm and poised, he hits his location. When he pulls it, the ball's going to get flattened out. talking to Steve McCaddy, talking about when he gets up in the zone, four-seamer or even his two-seamer up in the zone, he goes back to the two-seamer to go downhill. This is a tall, slender guy that needs to pitch downhill. His velocity down is even more than what the radar gun says because it comes out so quick. Stride is long, so it looks like he's getting on the hitter just as well.
5 singles have translated into 2 runs for the Giants. Here's another one. Their 6th single of the day. Brandon Crawford has a base hit. First and second with 1 away. Here's Travis Ishikawa now, the Giants' number 8 hitter. A run in, runners at first and second, and 1 away. Ishikawa singled and scored the first run of the afternoon back in the 3rd. And on the first pitch, he pops it up. Rendon for out number 2. By the way, that run that the Giants scored in the 3rd, the first run allowed by Steven Strasburg since September 10th.
Yeah, the first run by the starters. Coming into this, it was 31 consecutive scoreless innings, so they were on a roll, and typically they don't fear anybody, because why should they? They've got the best staff in baseball statistically, and they got some arms to back it up.
So now Jake Peavy with 1 run in and 2 out. 2 runners on base. Offers it that first pitch. Fastball. 0-1. Yeah, the rest of the matchups in this series are good ones. And certainly if you're a Nationals fan, you are buoyed by every one of them. Because as John mentions, lowest team ERA in the game. Among the team statistical categories, they lead. A great play by Rendon to second in time to force out Crawford. Plug in Anthony Rendon anywhere in the infield. Second base, third base, and a terrific play prevents any further damage in the 4th.